Hello and welcome to another UpTheCaps Podcast. I'm joined as usual by Ruse, and we have a lot to talk about. 5 games, not good at all. How do you feel about the current run?
How do I feel about the current run? I don't know where to start. I mean, where do you go? So, where did we last end off? Right before the LAFC game.
Right before the LA, yeah.
And I believe
we were building up for a good game against LAFC, topside, and then whatever happened.
So, okay, I believe from the last podcast, from the last time we were here chatting, I said LAFC has a good side. I said we have a chance to win, and I really wanted to believe that we would win that game. Because we won last time, and I thought, you could do it once, you could do it again, right? It's MLS, anything could happen. They're a strong side, but they were strong back then, and we got the job done. So fast forward to this game, and like I said, if we don't perform the way we are, we're going to lose. Mm-hmm. And I called it, I said it, you guys can look back on that, and look what happened, right? It wasn't a close game. I wouldn't say it was 6-1 is not a close game.
No.
You cannot... I can't see a bright side on that. Watching the game and just watching one after another, at one point it looked like they were just playing for fun. Really?
Yeah, we just totally gave up, after the third goal or whatever. It just killed the game for us.
I couldn't believe it. Right?
No, it wasn't
I don't know. What did you think? There's too much to talk, but no, please go ahead.
I mean, that game, obviously LAFC were the much better side, and they did what they have to do. They're leading. There's a reason why they're the top team in the league. But the other games, what's shocking for me is the other games against, who do we play? Sporting Kansas. We played New England Revolution, and then we played San Jose. I mean, these are teams that you could at least try to compete against. Yes, we had our moments and all that, but I don't feel like we deserve to win any of those games. So. And obviously the scores reflect that, 3-0 against Kansas City, and then 4-0, and then 3-1 just yesterday against San Jose. I mean, it's bad. Even the game in the Canadian Championship, it was bad too. I didn't think Whitecaps played really well against, on paper, a lower side, with all respect to Cavallari, take nothing away from them.
We'll get to the Canadian Championship a little bit later, so we're not forgetting that game, but we'll get to that later.
It was just part of the whole bad run, Yeah.
And I agree.
Yeah, they were expected to win that, at least to keep... At least... We'll talk about the Canadian Championship.
We'll get to that later.
We'll get to that. It's just...
No, I agree. It's been a bad run. 5 games... No wins. We scored 2 goals, just 2 goals. Yeah. So like you said, Sporting Kansas 3-0, New England 4-0, San Jose 3-1. Now, a couple things I wanted to note when we brought this topic up was, I said it last time, was each game we have a different formation change. Each game.
Yeah.
We've are 15, almost more than 15 games in already, more. And it feels like every game we're coming with a different lineup. Personally, I don't like that. I don't think that's right. You don't see a team do that unless you need to make a change, right?
Yeah.
Unless something's not working, then you adjust, right? That's just kind of how football is. But Marc Dos Santos keeps changing things game after game after game, and it really messes up because these players are used to playing their positions, but if you keep changing, like Mbaum he's a 10. He's a 10. He shouldn't have to worry about the defensive end too much. He's probably the most technical player on the field.
Mm-hmm.
And he should be the one supplying, right, and giving the strikers the balls and the goals. But each game you see Jordi Reyna even come back all the way. Like, we're playing 5 in the back, and you want Jordi Reyna to come all the way back, track back and defend. That's should be his job, especially when we're losing and we're not even scoring. Like, we're having trouble scoring. We're getting some chances, but each game it's like 20 shots on us, 30 shots on us. Last game, there were like 30 shots over us. I don't have the stats right now, but I saw it quickly. And these are games that we need to capitalize on, right?
Yeah, and I think the lack of depth that we have, especially in the midfield, it almost leaves like no option for Marc Dos Santos to do something. It's like every player he tries to put in the formation to like give something different, or like, you know how you talked about he's been changing the formation every game because the performances, like they have not been there, you know, like they're trying to win, like they're trying to make something happen, but you obviously, what's the first thing you're gonna do when you play bad and you lose? You have to come back and, you know, kind of like regroup, change the formation, you know, make like a few tweaks here and there, and then go again. And he's been guilty of that, doing that pretty much like the whole season. You know, like, I understand it's bad to get to this stage of the season not knowing your starting 11 and who are your best players, you know, but in the same time, like I feel like he has to do it. It's like part of his job to make these changes, to kind of like make the team better, to play better, because if we're winning and starting 11 are doing perfectly fine and all that, there's no reason to change it. But there's obviously a reason why he's changing all this, you know. It has a good side and a bad side, you know. He trusted a lot of players, you know, to come and deliver, but unfortunately they have been very disappointing.
I agree on the fact that obviously nothing's not working, so he's changing a lot. But we've been doing that from the beginning of the year, and you could say we had an okay start. We beat the teams that we needed to. It was decent, and just for the past couple of games, it's all been loss after loss after loss. Mentally, it's tough. Because not only do you have to perform the next game, but what are the mindset of the other team coming in? They know. They could see our weakness. We're losing every game. It's easy for a lower team on the table to come in and be like, oh, we're just playing Whitecaps now. It's not a good reputation to have.
Because
when you play LAFC, they have 0 losses at home. When you go to their home, you expect a tough game for sure. Like, this is their home. They're coming to win, right? They're not going to let you win at home. That's why they have 0 losses. But you come to BC Place, the fans are the whatever. We're not getting the support we could. The stadiums are empty. It's hard. Mentally, it's hard.
It is,
It's hard.
And we kind of allowed that to happen to us because in the last podcast I spoke about, you know, we need to make BC Place like a fortress. You have to, it doesn't matter, your away form is important, but not as important as your home. Like, your home games, you have to win those. You are expected to win. Your fans are showing up, they're paying the money for the tickets and all that. You need to win. You know, and on the road, if you can get a positive result, that's always a bonus. But if a lot of like average teams, they're coming to BC Place and they're beating us badly, you know, it's like the players are going into like every game almost like the body language. You can tell a lot about their body language. Definitely. You know, they're going into every game thinking like, okay, like maybe it's like in the back of their heads like, okay, we're gonna lose.
No, you're right. And
it's just because
it shows
because of all the results.
So, a couple things. I mean, we're talking about the games, but things that I would change. Because, you know, let's bring some feedback of what we change. First of all, the young striker, Bear, he's good. He's good for his age. There's a reason we called him up. But you can't start him in games now. I don't believe so. We were since last podcast, 5 games ago, we were able, if we won all our games, we probably would have been in a playoff spot right now. For sure. I don't know the numbers exactly, but I'm sure if we won or tied, we would be in a good spot. But you're going to play him at a time where we need to win, when you have Freddie Montero playing on the bench. No. He doesn't have the experience yet. I'm not saying he doesn't gonna have it later, but you can't play him yet. You have to put him the last 10-15 minutes, maybe for the speed, right? When someone, you know, the Freddie Montero maybe gets tired, you need someone to keep running, keep the game. But you can't do that now. So that's one. I disagree with that. Good young player, not yet. Later, you have to put him in, you know, tactically. Secondly, we watch the highlights before every podcast. The defense not tracking back. Alianan loses the ball walking back. Pretty much. Okay? Walking back. We see Scott Sutter, the goal, when New England, right? Okay, he crosses it. The guy, his player, runs by him, heads the ball, goes in, and he puts his hands on his waist like, oh, what can I do? Follow. It's like our defense is not a defense. At one point, we can't blame the goalie. Yeah, Marc Dos Santos put Zach McMath instead of Crapeau. I disagree with that too. But you can't like your defense, you're meant to defend, but you're like it feels like we're lazy and slow.
No, yeah.
Like we're watching the ball. You're seeing it. We slowed it down. We see it.
We're getting. It's happening a lot, and like and I've been paying attention to our defenders in the last like 3-4 games. They're all been like. It's like they're ball watching every time. As a defender, you can't do that. You have to be the first to react.
Definitely.
You know, you have to be kind of like sometimes like don't pay attention to the ball. It's good to know, but also you have to be aware of your surroundings. You know, like, and you mentioned few players. We don't want to like pick up. It's a team, overall team, yes. Like the whole performance.
But if you have Jordi Reyna run from the striker all the way to the back to defend, who's up there?
Yeah.
Who's up there, right?
It's
and that's
true.
what's been happening. We're having 11 guys in the box, it seems like, and then you put one guy up, and then you're like, why aren't we scoring? Well, I know why, because we have 10 guys on the box that can't defend, and then you're wondering why we can't score.
And you're
makes
making
sense.
And you're making your goalie look bad, even though he's making world-class saves.
How many more saves does he need to do? But honestly,
it's crazy.
It's not honestly how I feel about the run. It's bad. It's bad. And honestly,
it's really bad,
I think the next game against Calgary, which is Canadian Championship, but the next league game, which is against Minnesota, honestly, at this point, I really don't know if we're gonna win. But
that's a tough game too. I think they're like 4th in the Eastern.
Honestly, every game's tough. Yeah. Why are we acting like we're gonna?
The level is so like it's all the teams are like so close to each other. So that's what don't have like like. But right now, obviously, we're last place. On a bad run.
We're last place.
I don't know about playoffs.
Is the playoff dream over? How do you feel?
It feels like a dream now, right? It's like we're saying playoff dream. Mm-hmm. I think we are still in it. There's like 11 games left in the season. If we go on a good run of like 5-6 game win streak, maybe, it's easier said than done. Obviously,
of course,
to pick yourself up from this form and to get like 5 wins, home and away, that's gonna be hard. Mm-hmm. But if we can manage to do that, like at least win our home games and pick up some points away. We can probably. It's still not late, I think, to make a playoff spot. But again, if you go on if you make the playoffs, if you do make playoffs and then you perform like you put this kind of performance, like what we've been seeing lately, what's the point, right? It will count. Yes, we made playoffs in one of like our worst seasons. However, you need to like perform better. That's the problem. I think it's not over yet. There's definitely like 11 games left. Yes. That's a lot of games. And like we said, the season will end in October. So we have, I'm not going to say plenty of time, but we have like
11. So I don't know.
We're not that far. That's the it's like what 20 points. We have 20 points, and you have to win at least 4 games.
I mean, we have to win 4.
We have to win 4.
But that's to catch up, and that's given that if they'll,
it's not like they're gonna wait for us.
They're not exactly. They're not sitting waiting for us, right? Real Salt Lake is the first spot in the playoff, or the last spot in the playoff, and they're not. Unless they lose every game, it's pretty unlikely, right? And the other teams are already ahead of us. We're dead last. So I disagree. And I like the Whitecaps. Of course, I want them to win, but I'm a realist as well. Yeah. I have to be real. I can't just sit around and vote and say good things when I don't see it, because I would be lying to myself and I'll be lying to the people, because I know. I have to be real. I have to be real. It doesn't matter. I don't think we're going to make it. Personally, I don't see it happening at all. I can't imagine that we are going to win. I know we're going to win a couple of games, for sure, but I just can't see us clinch a spot. It doesn't seem likely. 11 games left, being dead last. We've played the most games out of everyone. Yeah, keep that in mind as well.
Yeah, we have.
So we're already ahead of everyone, and we're already behind. I think...
And I think we have some few tough games too.
We talked about it last podcast. That was 5 games ago. Or sorry, 4, because the one game was Calgary. 4 games ago, and it was already so different, the table. And you could see, right, 12 points later, and we took 0. Out of 12 points.
Yeah, possible.
That could have clinched, maybe, right? I don't know the logistics, but it would have helped us.
Of course.
9 would have helped us. Remember, I said even if we don't win the next 4 or 5 games, said we could still have a chance if we get 9 or 8. Yeah. Got nothing.
I mean, every point counts. That's the thing.
Especially now, right? Beginning of the season, we're like, okay, we're 5 games in, we're playing good, we beat LAFC, we're hyped, we're this, that. But now it's to a point where I feel there needs to be changes made. And it's funny, I'm saying we changed the lineup too much, but I think we need to implement something where every game is a do or die now. We have to go into every game thinking that it's a playoff game at this point. Right?
Yeah, but also it's so difficult to... We've been in such a bad run. It's so difficult now to go and have this kind of mentality. Like, what can you do, like, as a coach? Like, that's going to take us to the next point about, Marc Dos Santos. Like, what would you do as a coach to just, or really manager, just to, like...
I said I don't like Marc Dos Santos. I've said it. Yeah. I've said it before, and I've said it earlier in the season, right? And I'm saying it now, and I keep saying it. He hasn't proved me wrong. I want him to prove me wrong. He hasn't. And he keeps... unfortunately disappointing. I'm sorry for anyone that likes him. Nothing against him as a person. As a coach, it's not good. Okay, we got rid of Carl Robinson, whatever. He wasn't the greatest. I didn't think he was the greatest. I don't think Marc Dos Santos is a nice guy. But where are we? Oh, I want to bring... He brings, the Korean guy. He brings Ali Adnan. Multi-million-dollar contract. Let me remind you, multi-million-dollar contract. Every goal, it seems like it's coming from his side. They're crossing it. It's easy. He lost the ball, remember? And then they beat him. He walks back pretty much. He gets another chance because Crepeau saves him. He loses the ball again and they score. So, like, what is there to change? I don't know.
The thing is, like, I don't know. Mistakes, on the field, they do happen. Every player is making mistakes.
Of course. But
thing is, like, what I'm seeing on social media and, like, Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and people commenting, Dos Santos needs to leave, Dos Santos needs to leave. A lot of people are, like, kind of, like, caught in between two things, Okay, no, some people, they want Dos Santos to stay and they like this team and everything. And the other part of the, the supporters are like, no, Dos Santos has to go. This is a bad team. And...
You can't be blinded. I know you like the team, but you have to be realistic. You have to be realistic.
Okay, so this is how do you say? This is like a result-driven business.
100%.
If you don't, in any team, top managers, if you don't bring wins and results to the team, you're gone.
Yes.
It's a little bit different in MLS. So it's so easy to point the fingers at one person after each loss, and obviously who's there to do the press conference after every game?
The coach,
who's like the main figure in the team, with all the leadership that we're lacking on the field. It's like Marc Dos Santos, he's the guy who's taking all the blame. It's so easy to talk about him saying that this guy needs to leave, he's not good, we need Carl Robinson, we need the 2011 team and all that, and people are talking about it. I get it. But just personally, I think at least give him till the end of the season. When Carl Robinson took over the team in 2013 or something.
Sure, yeah.
When he left in 2018, so 5 seasons, we made the playoffs only twice. Were we a better team? Yes. Could that team beat the current Vancouver Whitecaps team? I think so. But we made the playoffs twice out of 5 years, and we gave him like a 5-year.
Was that what it was? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It was like 4.5 or 5, something like that.
Yeah.
So I think we're like judging this guy like way too quickly now. I know the results are not there. I understand the fans are frustrated. They're paying money. They're coming to see.
Of course.
Of course. They need the team to win. We all want them to win.
Mm-hmm.
However, I feel like the players are the main part of this whole problem.
Definitely,
yeah. Like he can't play for them. I feel like if they go on the field and they give everything and they lose, okay, I understand. You guys came up short. The other team was better.
We're not just coming up short.
That's the thing. I'm watching the team, home and away. I can pick maybe 2-3 players that are like, they've been consistent, The rest of them, I'm sorry, but very disappointing.
Very disappointing.
Very disappointing.
And you know what? You have a good point, actually. Oh, sorry. But we talk about it all the time where we say you could have a great player, but if you put him on a bad team, it brings his level down.
Mm-hmm.
Right? This is what I believe. When a new player comes into the MLS, they thrive in the beginning because they have experience. They just came off like a good team, like international player, a really good player.
Yeah.
Aside from exceptions with like Carlos Vela and Zlatan, because they're just unbelievable players, so that's different. But if you're being like a good, average player like that we have in the past, like But even Inbom, for example, great in the Korean League. He comes in, he was great for a couple of games, and now he's not that same kind of talent, because what happens is you come in with that experience, you're killing it, you're good, but then the league adjusts, you adjust to the league a little bit, your level becomes lower.
Yeah.
Right? We saw it with, Pirlo, right? We see it with him. Great player, but every time when he makes a world-class pass and the guy loses the ball on the sideline with an easy touch, what else can Pirlo do, right?
Yeah.
That's an example, but Pirlo, obviously, world-class player.
Gerrard, same thing.
Right? Like, they're not the same. No. Obviously, they can still be good, but it's hard when the players around you are not up to your level, because it brings you down, because there's only so much you can do. So I believe that's what's been happening to players like Inbom, Ali Adnan. You could tell from his performance. Yeah. But also, I wanted to bring up to your point where you said it's a results-driven business. Football is a lot of the time in Europe, but I don't think it is in MLS too much, because Zlatan said it himself, people come here for the money. But here's the thing, we have no pressure because we're not getting relegated. What's the worst that happens to us? We're dead last. Oh, okay guys, we'll change a couple of things. We're here next. Finish and reset.
Yeah.
Everyone goes on vacation, they take their money, they do whatever they want, but there's no downfall. And I think that's ultimately, I blame the league a little bit, and I'm glad you brought that up, because I was going to speak on it, but ultimately I think it is the league's fault a little bit. And now with CPL coming in, I really, really hope we have a system like that, but I know it's not, because MLS is Whitecaps are part of MLS, which is an American league, so that won't happen. But I really hope it's CPL that does, and I know they're going to make another league, so I does hope it. I know it's a topic for another day, but I really hope that happens. But I'm saying that's my point. MLS, there's no relegation, so there's no pressure.
It will give you something to play for sure.
That's what I mean.
You see a lot of the times when people are, or like not people, where teams are like dead last in many of the European leagues, and then like the last 5-6 games they start like getting their. They start like, okay, let's actually, hey, we're gonna get relegated, let's play. We have to win.
And the whole mentality
and it
changes.
You get that shift in mentality, and the body language, everything. They start playing different. It looks like a completely different team.
That's one.
But just to touch on the Marc Dos Santos thing again, it's just I feel like the reason why he has been changing the formation so much, because first of all, we have a large squad, and the level. And obviously, until now, I think he doesn't know his starting 11.
He doesn't.
That's the thing.
He doesn't.
And which formation? He said in the press conference right after the San Jose game, he said the 4-2-3-1, this is the formation that we were going to build the team around, or the club, the whole project, right? And I think that yesterday's game was probably one of the first times I've seen us playing that formation. So if you're saying that this is the formation that we're going to build the project around, how come we're not playing this formation often, right? We're going into most of the games, 3 at the back, right wing back, left wing back, then we get the 4 players up. But again, he knows better, he's obviously more experienced and everything, but I feel like the players need to do a lot more on the field, to at least not make him look this bad, because right now he's taking all the blame, and I feel like the players are like getting away with it because of the lack of the leadership, and we can pick out like the standout performances. Obviously, every game, Maxime Crepeau,
amazing. I don't blame him at all.
I think our second best player has been Jordi Reyna.
Yeah, I agree.
He's at least. But
who's the third?
We're talking about
here's the argument. Who's the third? Problem. Who would you say is the third?
That's the problem. There's not many people.
There's not even a third.
Everybody's watching every other player. There's like a deflection or something. You're waiting for the other player to clear it.
Exactly. That's
Why are we doing that? You need to take initiative.
It starts with the defense. Like, we have 4 players from the Canadian national team playing in our team. Okay, but like, where's the defense? We're telling please. We can't put highlights anymore. They get flagged because of MLS content.
Yeah, the copyrights and all that.
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But look at the defense. We have nothing defense. Look at the score result. It's showing now. Yeah. People are breaking down. The MLS, it moves fast. There's world-class strikers. The wings in MLS are good. They're good now.
Mm-hmm. In a game where we lose 4-0 against New England,
and they're scoring like it's nothing.
And
man.
It's not an it's an average team, but it's not one of the worst teams. But it's an average team that we could at least compete against. And you get your goalie making 10 saves. and 4 goals, watching. And you're like, how much are you allow the other team to take shots?
Yes.
You know, like he can't save every single one of them.
No.
And I know we're probably being like critical and like biased towards like few players, but I'm sorry, that's the fact. What we're seeing on TV, what we're watching, that's what it is. You know,
and let me end it off.
You can't sugarcoat anything anymore because we've been doing very bad, and I feel like the players, they need to step it up.
Yes.
You know, and they need to take leadership, and you need this guy. You need always in every team when you play these like important games, you need one guy to set the tone for everyone else.
Who's the guy?
That's the thing.
Who's the leader? But who's the leader?
That's the problem.
A serious question though. Like to just to end off quickly here. Who's the leader? What did we say before?
We don't even.
Who's the leader? And we talked about this before, right?
We have.
We said we don't really know.
No.
So who?
We're missing that.
Who?
You'd think is the guy who is wearing the armband, but
I don't even know. I really don't know.
Erase it, but
Okay, but no, but I mean like but what is having that band doesn't show, and there's no one to take blame.
No,
there's no one's team. You look at LA, it's Zlatan's team, it's Carlos Vela's team, it's Rooney's team. Yeah, these are world class players that come from things, but Atlanta, Martinez's team, like there's no one. But that's what it is.
It's
that's
easy,
what it is.
And it's easy to and it's easy to pick up the bad habits. You know,
100%.
When you watch the other player, like I don't want to say names and all that, but when you lose the ball and you don't track back, and then the other players are watching you, and then all of a sudden they're gonna stop. They're like, "Oh, he gave up," and that's his position.
It's like we're passing. It's like no one wants to take the responsibility. That's what it looks like, right? Oh my God, he's closer. Let him do it. I'm gonna stay back because I don't want it to be my fault.
Yeah,
I get it. Okay, it's 4-0. Let it be the other guy's fault, so I look good. No, we don't work as a team.
We haven't been on like the front foot and all that. So I think like overall, yes, everybody's upset and they're pointing the finger at one person, and I feel like this is unfair. You know, just to finish this point, it's unfair for Marc Dos Santos to take all the blame because at the end of the day, yes, he sets out the team, he puts the formation in place, he's in charge of everything. However, the players are doing the business.
Definitely.
They're doing all the work.
Yeah.
You know, they need to perform first, and then, you know,
I agree.
Obviously, he's a human being. He makes mistakes. You know, few decisions. You know, like the tweaks with the lineup and everything. We have been, very critical of that too. And a lot of people are like, oh, how come this guy's not starting? Okay. However, he picked this team. Play. At least play. And we're not asking you to win the league right now. At least give something back to the fans. They're showing up. They're there to support. I see it on social media. I see it on YouTube and like even in the stadium, everything. So you need to give something back to them. At least play for play. Don't play for the manager. Play for the club.
Yeah.
You're part of it. You're getting your wages, everything. Give something back. That's the main point.
I mean, aside from all these losses, at the end of the day, I guess we can show a little bit more academy talent on the field. Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna lose everything, I guess the only bright side is put some young players in, right? Maybe a little bit later into the season. Let's try now, like you said, bring it for the fans. Last couple of games, let's see what they do, and
it creates a little bit of competition too. Hey, just because you're in the first team and you're not performing, I'm sorry, there are other players who want to play.
Exactly. So, no, you're right. So yeah, that's what I think. So, what do you think? Yes or no question. Playoff dream over? Yes or no?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
I say yes.
Yeah.
I say definitely yes.
We'll come back to this yeah.
We'll see next podcast for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
So we know our form in the league hasn't been the greatest. So what are our chances in the Canadian Championship? What do you think, at least? Especially that's the next game we're playing at home.
I have to say I'm a little bit disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was, a must-win game. And I know there's been a lot of talk about the pitch. But, yes, they play on grass. But that's the way soccer's played anyways.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of international players. And where do they play in Europe? It's grass.
Mm-hmm. Mainly, yeah.
So I don't see that as an excuse. Both teams played on the grass, so it wasn't a one-team thing. And, yeah, BC plays the turf. But personally, I think grass is better. Slower pace, you can actually control, play the ball. You have to be a little bit more technical, which it looked like we couldn't manage.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, from watching the game, and even the highlights now, Cavalry had a lot of good chances, and And honestly, I could say I feel like the Whitecaps felt like they got a little bit lucky. I feel like they got lucky.
Get a draw?
Yeah. Yeah. We had our chances, but even the shots, like some of the shots we took were ridiculous, were kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But Cavalry, good chances. Honestly, really good side. And we did a lot, again, bad defending, but no, I think they could capitalize. And no, I think we got lucky. And coming up to the game at BC Place at home, we need to win.
Mm-hmm.
Whitecaps need to win, because if you lose at home to a CPL side in their first year, it's not good.
And they go on to the semifinals,
semifinal.
and wait. I guess the winner of.
They
just go play against Toronto. I think. Because Toronto is just waiting. I think in the semifinals.
No, they are waiting in the semifinals. So it would be the winner. Oh no, we would play the winner of Montreal or York.
Okay.
That was 2-2. But anyways, I was disappointed again.
I really feel like I was surprised by their performance, by Cavalry's performance. I thought they played really well.
Yeah.
And they showed a lot of courage and like against Whitecaps MLS team and all that. They were not phased at all that we're playing an MLS side and everything. But what I liked is the entire atmosphere of the field. They didn't have a single empty seat. It was full house. People cheering from the start to finish. And because there's so much support in that league, people are actually more connected to those teams. And I felt like the Whitecaps actually were under pressure when they went there. Even though they were playing away, but it's like you're almost expected to win when you play, a lower side on paper.
Especially on their first year.
Especially on their first year. So they were under pressure. They're like, and you could see they were kind of like rushing things to, kind of like score and all that. But I thought Cavalry played really well. And on Wednesday, they're coming home. The Whitecaps coming home to play. And I feel like there's even more pressure this time because they're playing at home against this team. And those guys want to show their skills now. Okay, we're going to come to BC Place. We're going to try to beat you here and go to the semifinals, And obviously, I'm sure they're aware of our form in the league, so they know morale is not the highest. Yeah. Our confidence is not the best, and there's a lot of problems. Obviously, I just hope this is a great opportunity for us to go through the semifinals, and from there maybe we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
I mean, we're not even there, and it's 0-0. So
I think
is it by away goals, by the way? Is that how it works? I don't know too much about it.
I mean, it's definitely like aggregate.
No, that's what I mean. Like
away goal as in...
Because even if we finish 1-1, for example, or 0-0, we'll go to extra time. But if we do finish 1-1, Cavalry would go
They would probably go
because they have
one
away
goal,
right?
That's
so it is
like the rule of thumb. Kind
yeah. I mean, who knows with Canadian soccer? Honestly, they may have some rules. But okay, if it's like that, wow. So right now, technically, Cavalry's at an advantage.
Yeah, because they kept a clean sheet.
All they need
is
one goal,
right? So they need It's gonna be a tricky game too, and I don't know. I'm interested to see like how many people will show up.
Coming from 4 losses from the league, and now you have to play a Canadian Championship game against a team that you've tied 0-0.
And they put on a good performance.
They did put a really good performance, and honestly,
like you said earlier, they're gonna come harder now.
They're definitely gonna come harder, and like you said, they're like young players, right? It's a young team, it's a new team. They want to win. They want to prove to them that, we're CPL, but we can compete with these MLS teams.
Yeah.
And from their performance last time, I think they could. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a little bit of a faster game because Cavalry's used to playing on grass, and like I said, it is slower.
Yeah.
It's always slower. It's grass, right?
You could see our players are a little bit struggling.
Right.
In the beginning,
and now we're coming to the Whitecaps home, which they're used to the speed, and the Cavalry might not be used to playing in a stadium like that.
Yeah.
Speed, turf especially. So yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting, but
and I just want to say, from like an individual perspective, some of those Cavalry players, they will probably try to put on the show, maybe to get like scouted or something. Hey, we're playing at BC Place. It's like it's a great chance to like maybe get an MLS contract instead of staying in the CPL, and why not, right?
That's a good point. That's a good point. It's not only is it nice to have more teams in the Canadian Championship,
yeah,
but now these young guys that are make it there,
opportunity,
gives them
right?
an opportunity to show.
It's awesome, yeah.
So it's not. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I mean, obviously they're not expected. ACPL's not expected to win the trophy right now. Maybe in a couple of years when things get a little bit more established. But if they happen to go through, that's awesome to see that, because you brought up a good point saying there's a lot of fans because it's more local, it's more close to home. Exactly. The team, you feel it because it's like these guys are my local team. It's a smaller, like I want to support, and we're new. Let's create something big, which is awesome.
And some of those areas they've been desperately wanting to get a team
for something.
They want to get a team for so long.
Yes. Yes. Not everyone can come to Whitecaps Toronto.
Exactly,
it's too far,
exactly. Right? So it's a great opportunity, and I don't see a reason. If I lived in Alberta, or if I was from there, I would not be cheering for Vancouver Whitecaps. It's just that's normal.
Yeah,
it's
there's
not the Canadian
no reason
national
to
team.
not.
That's the thing. So having their own team, even though it's like a league lower or however it is in the pyramid,
highest in Canada.
Yeah, it's still good. It's still good, and like you said, it gives them something to cheer for, and,
it's great.
And I like that.
I mean, even speaking from experience, to play in a stage like that, where you would normally never get the opportunity to play against Whitecaps. Either you make MLS, you play, or there's no other opportunity.
Yeah, unless you play like a friendly game or something.
But whatever, who cares about that?
Now
but
you're playing
for serious, and you get to go play in a stage where it's huge, it's MLS. So
what do you think in terms of like lineup? How should we approach this game? From
I don't know. I don't know what he's gonna do. Honestly, I really don't, because is he? At this point, are you valuing the Canadian Championship over the league? I don't know. Does he see more of an opportunity with the Canadian Championship to say like, hey, you know what, are really low in the league right now. I don't know if they're gonna make playoffs. Speaking as the coach, if we win or we go really far in the Canadian Championship, can we offset the league a little bit by going far here? I don't know where their mentality is at. I wish I could, speak to him. Yeah. I wish I could, get the inside scoop. But at this point, is he going to play the strongest lineup that we have? Is he going to put Crapeau in net? Or is he going to put Zach? Is Ali Adnan going to play? Or are we going to start a young striker? Or are we going to play with a veteran? I don't know. And depending on the lineup, I think that's going to make the big difference. So, and these young guys, they're hungry. They're the best team in CPL.
They are.
They're destroying teams.
Yeah. Right, they are.
They're a good side.
They're a very good team.
So, where are we gonna go?
And they're gonna come here full of confidence and all that. I think we should go all out. Just put your first 11, the best, your best players in every position, and kind of like make a statement. Make this game, the game here. Even we talked about they're a good team. However, it's easier to start something in this game than MLS. We're gonna go away to Minnesota. If we lose this game, can you imagine the locker room
shoulders, that
it's just
shadow of just like you had a chance.
We just lost to a CPL team. Now we're gonna go away to Minnesota, who are fourth in the Eastern.
And we started in the quarterfinals right away. We didn't have to go through anything.
So I think we should just at least try to get a win, just to kind of like break this whole this negative run that's been going on.
Like a good win. If we're gonna win, we should smack them. I'm sorry, but we should smack them because you need that confidence.
And like I'd like to see Ali Adnan, Henry, Crapeau, everybody, Montero up front. It's good to get for him to maybe get a goal. Finish. He's been on a goal drought for a while now. Definitely. So it's good for him to get that. And sometimes one game can change everything. Maybe this can be. It can probably like spark a change in the ML, and maybe we can go in the league and probably win a few games. So I think we should go all out, put your strongest 11 on the field, win this game, go to the semifinals, make a statement, show that you are, there's a reason why you're in MLS, show that, with your experience, quality, everything, and then it'll be, I think at the end of the day, if we can, I know it's a long way from now, but if we can get something out of this tournament, like a trophy, it'd be good.
Silverware.
Even if we don't make playoffs, if we can get a Canadian championship, that's good. And I think this is the best year to do it.
Yeah.
Considering like the form Toronto are in right now, because they've been dominating this.
Always.
So it's a good time. It's a good time to do it.
Quickly, just to end off here, let's spend a minute or two talking about the other CPL teams. So York tied Montreal.
Not bad at all.
and Halifax just came a little bit short to Ottawa Fury, which is a USL team. So, not too much pressure because they're not technically an MLS. But wow.
But that's it's tight. Those games are tight.
Honestly, I have no idea it was gonna go. I thought Montreal would win. Well, we lost.
Thing. It shows the level. Actually, CPL people don't give a lot of credit to that league.
Honestly, yes.
But you could see.
Yeah.
You could see
young talent.
First time ever for what was it, Halifax?
A group of 11 guys that never played together, and all of a sudden
they tied. Montreal is a better this year. Montreal is a better team than Toronto and Vancouver. It's not bad at all.
I think so. Coming back to it, I think it's definitely a must-win. Not just a must-win, but I want to see a smacking, man. We need a big win because the more goals, the merrier. You have to put them in their place, right?
There's a lot of pressure.
You're at home.
Yeah.
You're at home now. Do the job. 3-4 goals. Let them go home. Show your dominance. Build your confidence. Yeah. Go into the game against Minnesota fresh.
Yeah, at least you can take something positive with you. That's the thing. And I feel like there's so much pressure on the entire, the board, the manager, the players, everything. So it needs like a little bit of change. Let's just get a win. Let's get a win, and it will.
No ifs, ands, or buts. Let's get the win, and let's start from there, and we'll move on.
Yeah.
So, next couple of games:
Minnesota, Cincinnati,
Portland, DC.
Another run away.
A good mix. A couple of away games, one home. We will be hopefully at the DC game.
Yeah, we will.
So if any of you guys see us around, please say hi. The plan is for us to be there.
Yeah,
don't be shy. We'll wear our hoodies. We'll hopefully bring everything.
Yeah.
So say hi. So we'll hopefully have the podcast in the next couple of games. I'm not sure if we're gonna do one before or after the DC game.
Yeah, we'll probably
probably before the DC game, maybe.
Before the DC game for sure.
For sure,
and
right?
Probably in between like Cincinnati and Portland, kind of.
Or maybe worst case after Portland.
Yeah. But, at least we can cover 2 or 3 games, and
it'll be good. Nice. I mean, we had to cover almost 5 games now, which is a little bit difficult, but hopefully we'll do it after the Portland game. Also, Spotify, we're not on yet. Still a little bit of technical difficulties.
Still waiting.
A lot of politics. So, no, we'll figure it out. We might have changed the name. So, if you don't see the Final Whistle podcast anymore, it's because we're going to call it the UpTheCaps Podcast because of some changes we have had to make.
Yeah, and it's updated on Apple Podcasts. So if you just search UpTheCaps Podcast, it will show up. That's right. The first thing there.
Yeah.
And
Spotify we'll post an Instagram post if we get them, because that's going to be achievement of its own, man. Because we've been working very hard to get that on. So it'll be good. Yeah, and like and subscribe the video.
We're on YouTube,
comment,
Facebook,
please.
Everything.
Like I said, we always want to build a community. We're very engaged, so always comment and let's get this thing going, because we want to let's finish the season strong, right? And get ready for next year. Like and subscribe, and like always, remember, up the caps.